Breaking News Center, I'm Connie Weber. We're learning more about the victims killed in New Lisbon as a manhunt continues for the shooter.
33-year-old Elizabeth Colbo was found dead at a home on West Bridge Street on Monday. New Lisbon police have not released the names of the two juvenile victims, but did reveal their ages are 12 and 13. Police are still searching for 47-year-old Virgil Thu, who is considered armed and dangerous. He has over a dozen previous felony convictions, including possessing a gun as a felon, burglary, and theft. Juneau County Sheriff's Office has shared a new photo of Thu shopping at New Lisbon Dollar General on Sunday. Find that image on our website at WTMJ.com. Jessica Gatso, WTMJ News.
2 days after a man drove down Bourbon Street in New Orleans and killed 14 people, criticism growing over the city's failure to prevent the terror attack.
In 2017, New Orleans then Homeland Security Director Aaron Miller described Bourbon Street this way.
It offers an iconic or symbolic target, so we want to make sure that we're hardening infrastructure where appropriate,
including an improved barricade or bollard system. But 7 years later, Mayor LaToya Cantrell says that on Wednesday,
bollards were not up because they are near completion.
Mass murderer Shamsa Din Jabbar simply drove around a police car to get onto Bourbon Street. Jim Ryan, ABC News, New Orleans.
President Biden nixing a proposed purchase of U.S. Steel. Japan's Nippon Steel was set to take over the American company in a $15 billion deal. In a statement, Biden said U.S. steel companies have faced unfair trading practices globally, and we need American companies representing the majority of the country's steelmaking capacity to put our interests in the forefront. U.S. Surgeon General Dr. Vivek Murthy says it's time for Congress to require stronger warning labels for alcohol, calling beer, wine, and liquor a leading preventable cause of cancer. More from ABC's Stephen Portnoy.
The current government warning label on alcoholic beverages hasn't changed since 1988. It warns of the risk of birth defects if pregnant women consume alcohol and says consumption impairs one's ability to drive and operate machinery. The message also vaguely warns of health problems, but the Surgeon General now says the label should explicitly call alcohol use a cause of cancer, similar to the warnings on packs of cigarettes.
In a series of social media posts, Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer has given his support to Wisconsin's Ben Wickler to lead the Democratic National Committee. Wickler, who's chaired the Democratic Party of Wisconsin since 2019, faces competition from Ken Martin, chair of the Minnesota Democratic Farmer Labor Party and a vice chair of the National Party, and Martin O'Malley, a former Maryland governor and current Social Security administrator. The DNC's members will make their choice February 1st. What will Wisconsin residents see get passed in the new legislative session starting this year? TMJ4 Chief Political Reporter Charles Benson tells WTMJ Governor Tony Evers may have some difficulty passing a state budget that both sides agree on.
Is this his last big budget to put together to run as for a third term, or is this his last budget, as governor? And I don't think anybody knows the answer to that just yet. So there's a lot, because every 2 years we produce a big budget, and so there will be a lot of interesting thoughts.
Benson says Governor Evers will face a Republican-led assembly this term, and the results of this legislative session will be interesting to watch. Another brewery group is ending its run in Milwaukee, but will continue on as it gets bought out by a larger organization. Explorium Brewpub owner Mike Doble tells WTMJ the group has bought out Good City Brewing due to struggles within the industry from last year.
2024 was a pretty difficult year for everybody in the hospitality industry, and we're also affected by that. And we floated some ideas about how we could join forces and maybe share some staff. Eventually, it led to us discussing, you know what, Mike, why don't you just find a way to buy me out and take over the brand?
The new buyout keeps all the staff from Good City Brewing, but the Good City brand itself will eventually transition out. News is sponsored by Holiday Automotive at Highway 23 in Fond du Lac. Holiday Automotive, it's worth the trip. Time for news about your money and the WTMJ Annex Wealth Management Market Update. Up arrows on Wall Street. Dow up 114, NASDAQ up 226, and the S&P 500 is up 44. Financial planning at every level. Annex Comprehensive Wealth, Annex Private Client, Annex Ignite. Details at annexwealth.com. Sports, traffic, and weather are next. Outdoor Living Unlimited, WTMJ News Time 9:05.
In Wisconsin, WTMJ's Greg Matzik here for Holiday Automotive in Fond du Lac, where the New Year's sale is on. Hey, is there a new Chevrolet, Buick, or GMC in your future? Connect with Holiday and find one that's right for you. Stack it with their low, simplified price, get more for your trade, then pair it all up with the season's best offers. Ready to take the roads this winter with confidence. Another great option. Check out a GM-certified pre-owned model. Enjoy the peace of mind benefits like 2 factory-backed warranties, scheduled maintenance, courtesy transportation, and roadside assistance all included. Driving a GM certified vehicle from Holiday is a no-brainer. I know you'll appreciate Team Holiday's welcoming, friendly, and genuine guest care. It's the stuff that delights and makes fans of drivers from all over. Fans like me and thousands of others who drive Holiday, Wisconsin's #1 Buick and GMC dealer. Find yours and discover the difference at Holiday Chevrolet, Buick and GMC, Highway 41 and 23 in Fond du Lac, and at holidaygm.com. It's worth the trip.
If you're living with joint pain in your shoulders, hips, elbows, and knees, and you have Medicare or Medicaid insurance, coming to Rejuvenex to solve your pain problems is something you should strongly consider. First off, because our FDA-approved pain treatments have been shown in many cases to be highly effective at reducing inflammation and substantially alleviating pain. Secondly, Medicare and Medicaid cover Rejuvenex treatments, so your cost could be nothing, or next to nothing at all. Chronic pain will only worsen with age. This leads to a far more compromised lifestyle, depression, and soon they start talking surgery. And then what? You have to get in front of arthritis and chronic pain, because the sooner you do, by letting us begin to calm those pain points, the better. I'm Rejuvenex founder Richard Salinas, and we can alleviate your pain so you can rejuvenate your life. Go to rejuvenex.com to request your free pain evaluation.
Time for a WTMJ Sports Update from the Gruber Law Office's One Call That's All Sports Desk. Bucks fell to the Nets 113-110 from Fiserv Forum. Bucks host the Trailblazers tomorrow night. Milwaukee basketball got crushed by Oakland 65-49. Panthers visit Detroit Mercy tomorrow afternoon. Number 8 Marquette hosts Creighton, and Wisconsin plays host to Iowa tomorrow night. Badgers Sports Update sponsored by Siding Unlimited, siding and a whole lot more. Packers finish out the season Sunday against the Bears from Lambeau. They take on the Eagles, Rams, or Buccaneers in the wild card round. Taking a look at the roads now with your WTMJ Johnson & Sons paving time saver traffic. I-794 west at the ramp from Jackson Street. The right shoulder there blocked due to a disabled vehicle. Some debris in the road could cause some lanes to be closed. This is going to be at I-41 north, about a half mile beyond the ramp from College Avenue. Here's your WTMJ 5-day forecast. Becoming mostly sunny, breezy today. 24 for the high, clear and breezy overnight. 10 for the low, wind chills below 5 to about 5. Sunny and breezy tomorrow with a high of 22. Cloudy on Sunday, 26 for the high. Chance for lakefront snow showers on Monday, 28, and mostly cloudy and 26 on Tuesday. 15 in Madison, 17 in Green Bay, 18 in Milwaukee. I'm Connie Weber. Outdoor Living Unlimited, WTMJ News Time 9:08.
Good morning, Wisconsin. So let's pour that coffee and talk to some experts about what's going on in Milwaukee, Madison, Washington, and beyond. Broadcasting live from the Annex Wealth Management Studios at the Avenue in beautiful downtown Milwaukee. It's the Political Power Hour on WTMJ. Here's your host, Steve Scaffidi.
Should we talk about the government?
I say yes. What do you say? Well, you're going to find out next hour. Bill McCoshen, Republican strategist. Hi, Bill.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you. Joseph Pecky, Democratic strategist.
New Year.
What'd I say?
Well, you said Happy New Year.
Yeah.
New Year. You don't want
Not
to be
happy?
We started the new year with a terrorist attack in New Orleans.
I understand. I spent a lot of my show yesterday talking about that. Yes. All right.
New Year.
All right. Joe's setting the tone early.
Eeyore's back. It's been a while.
He's setting the tone early. We're not going to. We spent some time at the end of last year, 2024, talking about what happened last year. We obviously spend every Friday talking about all those events. We're going to look forward, as my friend Bill likes to say. We're going forward. So
the state motto, forward.
Yes. It's simple. Is it just the one word?
It's just one word.
That sunshiny optimism of the right.
Yeah.
That is so efficient to have a one-word. How many states have a one-word motto? That's kind of
We
cool.
got it right.
All you geeks out there, start Googling that for me and then give me the results. The text line, I'm actually opening the text line today, the Siding Unlimited talking text line. If you have questions for the gentleman, because I think that's part of it as well, or more importantly, and to the point and relevant to what our topics are today, predictions for 2025 in politics. Now, we're going to cover all the stuff, right? States, right? Even maybe local if you got something good. MPS, that's certainly a story still looming out there. Obviously, what happens in Washington, D.C., crazy predictions we'll get to at the end. We'll still do our Rogers Love thing because, there's stuff we want to get rid of, stuff we want to keep. And then, of course, grab bag, which could be anything.
We're covering the waterfront.
All right. So let's start with, I'm going to ask each of you this basic, simple question. In 2025, what do you think the most likely thing that's going to happen in Washington, D.C. is? What's going to happen when Donald Trump takes the presidency? What is a likely prediction that we should all get ready for and expect?
You know how our state motto is only one word? I got a one-word prediction. Chaos.
Chaos. C-H-A-O-S.
To put a little finer point on it, today is the first day of the new Congress. All of the new members are getting sworn in. The returning members are getting re-sworn in. And there will be a vote for Speaker of the House.
Mm-hmm. Mike Johnson.
You have those in reverse order. There's a vote for Speaker before the swearing in.
True.
Thank you for fact-checking me.
We learned that last year, yes.
And I don't know if it's going to take one vote for Mike Johnson to be Speaker.
Nope.
Or 15 votes.
Nope.
I would probably guess somewhere in the middle. But here is my first take for 2025.
Is it a smart take? That's the question.
On December 31st of 2025, there will have been more than one speaker in the calendar year.
Ooh.
He cannot survive, even if he gets the votes today, in however many votes it takes.
Yeah.
Between one or two reconciliation packages with a one-vote majority for 3 months-ish.
Yep.
And then at maximum a 3-vote, a debt ceiling, the whims of not just President Trump, but of the Doge Boys, Vivek and Elon, and a conference that still has a few true, dyed-in-the-wool old-school conservatives. We saw how hard this was in the last couple of years. Mike Johnson isn't going to be the only person who's Speaker of the House this year.
It's not far-fetched to think that. I believe he will be the Speaker today, which is
not going to roll into tomorrow.
A little bit of a prediction in and of itself. I don't think he gets it on the first ballot because another congressman from Virginia said no today, and he can only lose one, and that was Thomas Massie. So,
how do you change that scenario? If he says no and you can only lose one,
he's got to give him something.
He's got to give him something
because they got to be careful.
And I've been advocating that for some time, but Trump plays a role in this for two reasons. One, he took 3 members of the conference into his cabinet, right? So he shortened that majority by himself. And two, it is incumbent upon him to have a working majority to get his agenda passed. So he's got skin in the game in a big way. I think Mike Johnson gets it on the second ballot today. I think they come around and find a way to work with the conservatives, and there's about a handful. And honestly, this is different than it was 2 years ago. I called the 8 that took out McCarthy arsonists, and because they didn't have an end game. They were just burning the place down to burn it down. It was very personal between Gates and McCarthy. In this case, I think these are principled Republicans conservatives who want certain things to happen in the Congress. But today's the day they have maximum power. If they blow it today, Donald Trump is a deal maker, and he will make deals with Democrats that they will really loathe over the course of 2025 if they're not careful. So it is incumbent upon all of them to work together, figure this out today, at least get Reconciliation 1 passed. I don't think that'll happen until mid-February, but Republicans, we're going to determine if we can work together. I mean, we put the fun in dysfunction.
I say Johnson gets it later today, between votes 5 and 10. But if not Johnson, Bill, who?
There isn't one. There isn't
That's
any.
the problem.
I don't think there's one that could get 50 votes, let alone 217.
Oh, Jordan could.
Oh, I don't know.
I'm not so sure.
He was the guy, remember?
The
he was going to
Freedom
get
Caucus has more than 50 members at this point.
Yeah, but I don't think they're united on any one member, or that name would be floating out there by now. Okay. I mean, that's the other problem with this whole trip, Mike Johnson, is there is no alternative. So work it out.
What do you think of Mike Johnson?
I think he's weak.
I do too.
217 Republican members of the House today, and there's not a second one who's able to grab a leadership mantle.
In part because they don't want to get crossways with Trump.
All about Trump. All right. Lots of text on that point I just made. All right. Bill McCosh and Joseph Peck, just getting warmed up. The Friday edition, the origin story of the Political Power Hour on 620 WTMJ. Lots more to get to. We'll do it after this.
Don't count us out. Not
Lillard
yet.
scoops to the hoop, lays it in. The Bucks have taken a 1-point Lopez in transition, squeezes up a 3, and he drilled it. The Bucks throwing fire.
This season is far from over.
To work with drives inside and stuffs it down with the right hand. 59 points now for Giannis. He's tapping his chest as he goes the other way, saying, "This is my house.
We are the home of the Bucks.
This is my house."
WTMJ.
Hey, WTMJ's John Merck here. So I was looking at some of the bushes that have overgrown on my property, and I love our yard, but I need dormant pruning. That's what takes place during the winter when it's safe to cut back things so you have healthier trees and bushes around your house. Check right now to see if you've got stuff scraping against the siding or needs to be cut back, and schedule it now. Design Build landscaping projects are a year-round topic. Landworks Wisconsin does it the right way every time. They help people achieve their outdoor dreams by creating beautiful landscapes. I love these guys. LandworksWisconsin.com. Check them out today.
In a recent study, over 1/3 of millionaires predicted their ability to feel financially secure in retirement is going to take a miracle. At Annex Wealth Management, we believe a plan, not a miracle, will help increase your retirement confidence. Our team of experts gets to work using leading-edge technology to build comprehensive plans covering investment, retirement, tax, and estate planning. And Annex doesn't have products to push with hidden fees or commissions. There's too much of that already. Annex is a fee-only fiduciary. More planning, fewer miracles. Know the difference. AnnexWealth.com.
Staying active, essential for overall health. Proper medical support, essential for staying active. WTMJ's Vince Vitrano for Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin. Whether it's keeping a weekend warrior like me on the tennis court or keeping young athletes in the game, you want the best in sports medicine, that's OAW. Surgeons, nurses, and physical therapists help you recover from injury, avoid injury in the future, and enhance performance. Get care 7 days a week. Walk right in at an Ortho ASAP clinic or book an appointment online at orthowisconsin.com. All
right, Friday. We can't complain. Most of us were off on Wednesday, so it's sort of like
some of us were driving.
Yeah, Bill did like a cross country deal, and you look good for having done it. You don't look tired at all.
I feel pretty good.
Yeah, where'd you go? Washington D.C.
Washington D.C. Moved my kid out there.
How's our nation's capital looking?
He lives in the Navy Yard. He's going to work at the Department of Transportation, and he literally can see the building from his apartment, which is a little spooky.
That's
right?
nice.
He can walk home for lunch.
Did you ever live in D.C.?
I never did. No.
I love that city.
The opportunities came when I was married and had kids, and we didn't want to raise our kids out there.
Yeah, probably good choice. And you've lived out there.
Yes, twice.
And you loved it, I bet.
Yeah, I'm really, really glad that I spent my 20s living in D.C.
Oh, I bet.
And it's my second favorite place in the United States. And people go, why is that? I love the vibrancy of the city. Everything's happening there. Some of it crazy, some of it not crazy, but we'll get to that. All right, so I want to stay on the national level, federal level. You can take it where you want. So I'm intrigued by what may happen when it comes to policy, but where are you at right now?
Well, let me start on appointments. I think the sad events that Joe referenced early, both in New Orleans and in Las Vegas, probably ensure that the President-elect Trump's national security team gets confirmed sooner than later. And there isn't a lot of drama in those hearings. There may be some, but I think Hegseth and Kash Patel and Tulsi Gabbard probably get done that 22nd, 23rd, 24th of January, somewhere around that time frame. So there's a lot of angst in D.C., having just been there, about the current national security team, whether their eye is still on the ball or never was on the ball. So I think there's energy out there to put new people in place very quickly.
I think you're probably right. I wish it was the opposite. The biggest national security story we saw in the last week is that apparently within the last several weeks, the Biden administration was briefing the president, Joe Biden, on strikes against Iran if they move forward with enriching uranium, moving closer to a bomb. You'll remember that the Trump administration walked away from the deal that had sort of constrained their nuclear capabilities. And so what that underscores for me is this is a dangerous time in a dangerous world. And we ought to have serious people with serious credentials in these big national security jobs. And I'm sorry, Tulsi Gabbard and Pete Hegseth are not serious people. There are more qualified, more capable people who have a conservative MAGA-like worldview who could do those jobs. They could find a general. Right? Lloyd Austin got a waiver to do it because it's civilian control of DOD. So you're supposed to wait a couple of years, but they got a waiver for Austin. They could do that for somebody who, shook hands with Mike Flynn at some point, right? So I wish that the stakes being raised would mean that we get more scrutiny and a real discussion about the seriousness of some of these folks.
Somebody asked me this over the weekend about the safety and security of our country. And, post 9/11, we haven't had massive terror attacks, big, game-changing, life-changing events. I've seen sort of an erosion of that, and certainly New Orleans is sort of part of that story. We've seen it take place in other parts of the world, certainly, with attacks taking place across Europe and other places. Does the New Orleans story, does that suggest that maybe we weren't on guard enough during maybe the Biden administration, that we're now seeing this come to our soil?
I think so, because the Trump administration, 45, would tell you that they eliminated ISIS, right? This guy was radicalized by ISIS, and the FBI themselves said yesterday that he wasn't on their radar. Well, how is that even possible that he wasn't on their radar, right? I mean, who was he communicating with? Wasn't he in the cells that they were monitoring? How did they not know that? And he had posted stuff on his Facebook site that was pretty radical, and somehow he didn't make it on their radar, but we're going after Granny in front of a pro-life or pro-choice clinic, an abortion clinic, or mom and dad at a school board meeting. What the hell are we doing?
My wife at the airport's a 10-minute search. Are you serious? What are you doing? 10 minutes in line. Come on.
If you've ever talked to anyone in counterterrorism, and I have had occasion to do that a couple times in my life, they will tell you, without having to think about it, that the hardest plots to stop are the lone wolves, because they, by definition, are not communicating with others. There are no co-conspirators.
Makes sense.
So regardless of who's in charge, regardless of, where in the United States they are, it's really, really tough when it's a lone wolf.
What do we make of the military connection to that story?
I think it's more than it appears to be, right? The fact that they were both on the same base may just be a coincidence. I know people today don't want to believe there's any coincidence. No. Rather, there's only facts you don't have. I think in this case, it probably was a coincidence. That's what it seems like to me, but we'll know more over the next couple of weeks.
Is local law enforcement working enough or close in hand with federal agents to make sure that these things are very
well? There was a failure in New Orleans.
Yes,
they have a roadblock.
Define what you think the failure was.
The failure was they have a roadblock, an actual one like you see in D.C. at all the important.
And the police chief wasn't aware of those roadblocks.
Bollards.
Yes.
Bollards. Okay.
Yes.
And they didn't have it up. Instead, they had plastic cones.
Well, they were repairing it because the system they had didn't work as intended. And so ahead of the Super Bowl, which is in New Orleans and which is a national security special event, they were repairing it. But the notion that you would not have it fixed in time for New Year's Eve on Bourbon Street
major bowl game.
And for a major bowl game that day is insane.
One of the college football playoff games.
Yeah. Here's the texter nails it. We can't protect schools. You're going to protect an outdoor parade? Not going to happen. Bill McCosh and Joseph Heckey, the Friday, I was going to say Friday Forum. I'm thinking of the past.
Wow.
But we're not thinking of the past. We're looking forward.
We're looking forward.
Lots more to get to. We got news coming up with Connie Weber at the bottom and another half hour with the guys. All coming up, 620 WTMJ.
Hey, John Mercure here for Experience Wisconsin. You know the show. It's a lot of fun. It's Saturdays. It's Saturday afternoon, and we spin you around the state, introducing you to some of the cool people, some of the cool places, some of the stuff you can spend your time doing, whether you're looking for a weekend idea, a week-long idea, or maybe you just have a couple of hours free on a Saturday or a Sunday. This week's show is going to be fantastic. One of my favorite places is south of the city. It's Lake Geneva. We will be joined on Experience Wisconsin by Stephanie Klett, the lady in charge of Visit Lake Geneva. It's Experience Wisconsin on WTMJ.
Hey, this is WTMJ, Steve Scaffidi for Advent. Love talking about Advent. You know this because it's a game changer. It changed my life. It can change yours too. Do not put up with tossing and turning, restless nights of sleep. Just overall not getting it done in the sleep part of your day. I did something about it. I went to Advent. 30-minute visit, simple sleep study at home. They figured it out for me. Breathing triangle, sinuses, nasal passages. I'm not kidding. Changed my life. Slept solid last night. That could be you. Regardless of age, do something about it. If you struggle like I used to, take the time to see how Advent can help. To find out how breathing well and sleeping well can make your nights better, go to adventknows.com. Adventknows.com. Schedule an appointment today. Don't wait, because Advent knows when you breathe well, you live better.
Welcome back to Ask Hasselus. I'm Weston. What's your question?
When you say Hasselus Mattress is employee-free, you don't really mean it, right?
Of course we mean it. At Hasselus, give the mattresses a try with no pushy sales guy.
Why no employees?
To save you money.
How much money?
Well, others sell a Beauty Sleep by Beauty Rest Elm Cove B Queen mattress for $1,650, but the everyday Hasselus price is just $842. We have way low pricing on Serta Perfect Sleeper and Sealy Posturepedic too.
Hey, that's pretty good.
Plus, through Monday, purchase a select Beauty Rest, Sealy Posturepedic, or Serta Perfect Sleeper in any size, and Hasselus will give you a free adjustable base.
That's even better.
Free next day delivery, free removal and setup of your new mattress, and free financing is available too.
And this is all because your showrooms are employee-free?
Yes, sir.
I like the way you do business.
Open 9 to 9. Get all the details and find an employee-free showroom near you at Hasselus.com. Hasselus, employee-free since 2014.
Do you know or work with kids who have special healthcare needs? Help them live their best lives. Contact Wisconsin Wayfinder Children's Resource Network. Our specialists will connect you with services in your area. Wisconsin Wayfinder is free and confidential. Call 877-947-2929 or visit dhs.wi.gov/WISCWAY. Connect today. Sponsored by the Wisconsin Department of Health Services.
Oh, is that Joe Walsh on guitar? I think it is. Joe Zapecki, speaking of Joes. Bill McCoshen.
No Joe.
No Joe. And no joke. We got a few more little things to clean up on the federal level. What do you got?
Donald Trump will not have ended the war in Ukraine by Inauguration Day, is one of my, I think, safer predictions of the year. You asked about policies off air.
Yeah.
I think
and on air.
The unfortunate reality is that during the first 100 days of whatever deportation operation they undertake, the Trump administration will unlawfully detain an American citizen, and all hell will break loose. You want my galaxy brain take
sure.
of the year?
Mm-hmm.
There's a non-zero chance that Democrats take control of the House this year.
How's that?
Illnesses, deaths, accidents, special elections. Crazy things happen, and if we've learned anything from the last 9 years, I think it ought to be that there's a higher likelihood than we thought of crazy things happening.
Well, on your last point, there are 3 vacancies now because of appointments, plus the one lady who was in a dementia institute
Texas.
in Texas.
Yeah.
So that's 4. I think we keep all 4 of those. The Stefanik one may be the most challenging. But I think we keep all of those. So there's a little bit of room. But, what I counseled last week, I'll counsel every week in 2025, is Republicans have to stick together. Because if they don't enact an agenda that the voters believe they voted for on November 5th, they're going to get wiped out in 26. And guys like Thomas Massey think it's the opposite, that Mike Johnson is going to march them into the majority. He's wrong about that. I think he's a great conservative. I'm a big fan of his on policy, but on this, he doesn't get politics. That's my feeling.
All my financial advisor friends talk about the 2017 Trump tax cuts. What will that look like going forward? Will they be better? Will they change? The same?
I think they could change a little bit. I think they'll be more focused on the middle class. I don't know if he will keep the cut he put in for the highest income bracket. We'll see. But he will add no tax on tips, no tax on Social Security, no tax on overtime. Those 3 might actually come in the first reconciliation at the beginning of the year here.
Is Texter alluded to this? Is it fair to call Trump a lame duck president as soon as he gets into office?
Yes.
No, I think this first year is going to be the NASCAR year where it's all gas, no brakes. They will be getting as much as they possibly can get done.
So you think he's going to run again in 28?
I do not.
Then he's a lame duck. Lame duck soup is
by
lame duck
definition,
soup.
I mean actions.
All you have to do if you're a sitting member of Congress is look at his ability to impact primaries, and you got to worry about that guy coming into my district.
His impact?
We always forget the
Elon
losses
Musk's?
on that equation.
Well, Musk is now part of it.
Yeah. Elon Musk.
What happens first? Trump turns on Musk or Musk abandons Trump?
I'd say first one. Trump turns first.
It's not going to happen in 25. I'm not predicting on 26.
That sounds
They
like
hang together to get this done.
A long-term love affair, Donald Trump and Elon Musk.
They hang together.
All right, gentlemen, we still have a half hour. Get to state politics, and then the Rogers Love segment. Certainly relevant because we have a big game this Sunday. Bears, local news with Connie Weber, and now the latest, I say, from ABC.
ABC News, I'm Brian Clark. The White House's President Biden and the First Lady Jill Biden will visit New Orleans Monday to meet with officials on the ground and grieve with families that were impacted by the New Year's terror attack that left 14 people dead. There's scrutiny on New Orleans city officials for not having stronger barricades in place, and ABC's Chief Justice correspondent Pierre Thomas says
the FBI and the Department of Homeland Security sent out a bulletin to 18,000 law enforcement agencies, basically out of an abundance of caution, telling them be on the lookout for copycats. They're very concerned that people will be motivated by what they saw and try to act out on their own.
The president also announced that he has blocked Japan's Nippon Steel's proposed $15 billion takeover of U.S. Steel. He cites national security and supply chain concerns. First day of the new Congress, and the first order of business will be voting for a speaker. The current speaker, Mike Johnson, says there's no time for drama and that he thinks he can win on the first ballot. This is ABC News.
Outdoor Living Unlimited WTMJ News Time 9:31. I'm Connie Weber. An inmate at the Racine County Jail fighting for his life after being attacked by another inmate happened Tuesday afternoon in what's called the day room. Racine County Sheriff's Office says the emergency buttons in every cell were functional but were not activated by any of the inmates who witnessed the assault on the 35-year-old. Authorities say they've identified the attacker and segregated him from all other inmates. Two former Milwaukee County correctional officers accused of abusing inmates now face charges. Prosecutors say Rafael Gomez and Marquez Reeder punched inmates and used pepper spray on them. The Milwaukee County Sheriff's Office says it's working with the DA's office to provide evidence and other information that will help in both court cases. Both are scheduled to appear in court later this month. It wasn't your imagination. Last winter in Wisconsin was the warmest ever on record. The Wisconsin State Climatology Office reports the period between December of 2023 and February of 24 set a new record with an average daily high temperature of just over 28 degrees. The highest total since records began in 1895. Time for some news about your money in the WTMJ Annex Wealth Management Market Update. The Dow is up 163, 42,555. NASDAQ up 153, 19,434. S&P 500 up 36 at 5,904. Financial planning at every level. Annex Comprehensive Wealth, Annex Private Client, Annex Ignite. Details at annexwealth.com. Taking a look at your roads now with your WTMJ Johnson & Sons Paving Time Saver traffic. Still the right shoulder blocked at I-794 west at the ramp from Jackson Street, a disabled vehicle there. And lane closures, debris in the road. I-41 north about a half mile beyond the ramp from College Avenue. Here's your WTMJ 5-day forecast. Mostly sunny, breezy today, a high of 24. It's going to be clear and windy overnight, a low of 10. Wind chills 5 below to 5 above 0. Mostly sunny and breezy tomorrow, a high of 22. Cloudy and 26 on Sunday. Mostly cloudy Monday with a chance of lakefront snow showers and a high of 28. And then cloudy and 26 again on Tuesday. 15 in Madison, 17 in Green Bay, 18 in Milwaukee. I'm Connie Weber. Outdoor Living Unlimited, WTMJ News Time 9:33.
Winning in the NFL comes down to the basics, blocking and tackling. In retirement, the certainty of protection and income are the keys to success. And as a former NFL player myself, I have experience with both. Hi, I'm Mitch Lyons. Having played on winning teams with the Steelers and Falcons, studying game films helped me mentally prepare for the challenges ahead. Now I star in a new Hollywood documentary called The Retirement Deception to help you visualize and prepare for your fourth quarter of life. You see, you don't retire on your nest egg, but rather the income it can produce. This film shows you exactly how to protect your retirement from stock market drops and produce more income than you thought possible. And it's free for you to view. Call 844-763-2837 right now for your free streaming code to watch The Retirement Deception. Don't risk your retirement savings at the goal line. You don't need to be risky to have a winning strategy. Call today to speak with an all-pro retirement specialist to get your free streaming code to watch The Retirement Deception. Call today, 844-763-2837. That's 844-763-2837. MitchLyonsWealth.com, your best game plan to protect, grow, and win retirement.
Hey, WTMJ's John Mercure here, asking you to join me in October as my wife and I explore the magical kingdoms of Southeast Asia, from the villages of Vietnam and the temples of Cambodia to the friendly locals of Laos and the beachside resort in stunning, lively Thailand. I hope you'll join us for this unforgettable journey. Ancient and mysterious worlds of rural landscapes, bustling cities, and fascinating history in Vietnam. Explore the Chu Chi tunnels used by the Viet Cong. Experience a street food adventure through Hanoi and cherish the serenity
serenity of Hai Long Bay on a beautiful boat ride. Bangkok in Thailand, the beaches in Thailand, history, tradition, food. If you'd like more information on this great trip, send me an email. john.mercure@wtmj.com. john.mercure@wtmj.com. It's Thailand, Vietnam, Cambodia, Laos. I'm super jazzed about this trip. Send me an email. I send you the info. john.mercure, MERCURE, @wtmj.com.
Thank you for tuning in on this Friday. Happy Friday, everybody. It's certainly the beginning of a new year, and we're spending some time on predictions with our guys, Bill McCoshen and Joseph Pecky, strategists on both sides of the political aisle. I'll let you figure out which one is which.
It's pretty hard to tell.
Yeah, really, really hard to tell. Thanks for all the texts on the Siding Unlimited WTMJ Talking text line, 855-616-160. I'll weave in some of those questions. State of Wisconsin, predictions. Before we get to that, we have a lot of big things happening, right? First of all, we have a surplus, which I always love to talk about because nothing ever happens with it, really. That's one thing.
They spent some of it down in the last.
There's still over $4 billion.
Yeah, but it was as high as 7.
Yeah. Okay, but still $4 billion.
Just because you got some money in the savings account doesn't mean you go.
Where's
blow
my
it all.
money?
Come on now.
Well, that's the big question.
Where's my money? Anyway, we'll get to that. Governor Tony Evers, who may be on the show Monday, his schedulers have sort of promised to be on the show. We'll see what happens. Will he run next year? And of course, what's the other big one, gentlemen?
Control of the state Supreme Court.
Yes.
Yeah.
Big Supreme Court race. Where do you want to start?
Let's start with Governor Evers. So the signal, as Joe calls it correctly, to watch from Governor Evers is what's in his budget. Is it a legacy budget, in which case, because of his background, it's probably going to be heavy on K-12 education and the UW system? Or is it a re-election budget, in which case he may have a pretty significant tax cut in there? If he does the latter, he will find an agreement somewhere along the way with Republicans. That's their highest priority, is returning the surplus to those who paid it in, the taxpayers of the state of Wisconsin. And there have been deals in the past. This is often lost in the media and on the public that, Governor Evers and the Republicans haven't been able to get things done. I'll give you 3 big ones. They did shared revenue, they did the Milwaukee Brewers Stadium, and they did the most extensive literacy bill in state history. And you had a question about that on the text line already.
Mm-hmm.
So they have been able to find agreement when they found alignment, right? If they can find alignment on some kind of tax cut, this could be a pretty smooth budget. If not, this could go into the fall for sure.
You feel confident they may get to that point?
I don't know. Governor Evers has vetoed 3 different attempts by Republicans to cut taxes over the course of the last year. Sadly for Republican candidates, that was not an issue in the races because they all got nationalized because of a presidential election. But if I'm Robin Voss and Devin LeMahieu, I'm probably going to want to repeat that cycle because they will be issues in the 2026 campaign.
Well, if he joins the show Monday, that's my question is, what will it take to get you to sign off on this? Because one of the biggest questions I get on the text line or wherever I go is, when's that money coming back to us? That's, I think, a fair question from the people who actually paid all that money into that surplus.
Show me the money, Joe.
Sure.
Yeah.
You got to scream it like Jerry Maguire for me to take you seriously. My prediction when it comes, so for those who watched Bill and I on Upfront on Sunday.
All right, stop plugging your stuff away from the show.
That Tony Evers is one of my people to watch in 2025.
Oh.
And my prediction about his future is that we won't know until after the budget.
I agree with that.
He will probably wait until maybe even like November of next year, or this year, sorry, to let the world know.
So are you you're just telling us what we already know? Is he going to run? That's a prediction. Yes or no?
I think he will.
Okay.
I think not.
Thank you.
I say no.
You say no?
In 2025, he will announce he is not running for a 3rd term.
So who's the Democrat that's going to pick up the mantle?
The person I'd keep my eyes on is Milwaukee County Executive David Crowley.
That's a good one. I just talked to him a couple weeks ago. He didn't go back to school for no reason.
We got a great
He didn't
bench.
go back for no reason.
Josh Call, David Crowley, Sarah Rodriguez, Sarah Godlewski, Mandela Barnes. We got some folks who can make things interesting.
Any top choice in that group that you just listed up?
Too early.
You don't want to pin your hopes on one person.
Too early.
All right, so let's talk.
Past his prologue, they all fold their cards at the end of the game anyway, and let somebody just walk right through.
And strategic.
Let's do this. We'll take a quick break. We want to get to the other one, the big one, Wisconsin Supreme Court. Joe Zepecki, Bill McCoshen, making predictions for 2025. If you have one, or if you have a question, the Siding Unlimited WTMJ Talk and Text line wide open. Thanks for all the nice comments. We know you love Bill. We know you love Joe for all different apparent reasons. And I agree with those sentiments. If you don't like them, you can say that too, because we accept all texts. All right, quick break. You're listening, of course, to the Political Power Hour, Friday edition, 620 WTMJ.
The holiday season is a magical time of year to visit Lake Geneva. Embark on an enchanting Santa cruise on the lake. Take in a parade of trees and marvel at the world's tallest glass tree, built before your very eyes. Enjoy holiday shopping in a historic downtown. Chill out with festive food and libations in an igloo under the stars. Or find adventure on a zipline, ski hill, or snow-covered nature trail. Make Lake Geneva your place for holiday fun this year. Check out visitlakegeneva.com today for all the festive details.
This is WTMJ, Steve Scaffidi. For Annex Wealth Management, we make decisions every day. Some simple, what's for lunch? Others, like how am I going to plan for my retirement, aren't quite that simple. After all, decisions need to be made when it takes Social Security. What does my tax burden look like? I've just had this conversation this week. Or are my investments overlapping and inefficient? On the way to retirement, there are many decisions you need to make, and it's easy to miss a few. It's time to talk with Annex Wealth Management to button things up. Annex, this is a big distinction. Fee-only fiduciary. It's about you, not commissions. Their team on staff, part of your team, working on investment, retirement, estate, and tax planning. No one's the same. Annex gets that. When you're a client of Annex, help is only a visit or a quick phone call away. I've done it every which way, and it works fantastically. They have great people on staff. It's not going to happen, though, until you make a decision to take action and know the difference. Start at annexwealth.com.
Winter's here and here to stay, so it's time to stock up on cold weather essentials at Blaine's Farm and Fleet. Stay toasty with unbeatable prices on insulated boots, outerwear, thermal layers, wool socks, and a great range of home and garage heaters. Keep animals comfortable with heated equipment, de-icers, and livestock bedding. Plus, stay safe on the go with trusted brands of tires and batteries, portable jump starters, ice scrapers, antifreeze, and more. Trust the cold weather experts and find value at Blaine's Farm and Fleet.
Struggling with high cloud hosting costs and endless management headaches with your Microsoft Azure or AWS environment? Contact AmericanEagle.com for assessment and see how they can save you time and money.
Built Right Furniture, Leather, and Mattress.
You gotta get to Built Right today.
I love the Fox and Hound Supper Club, especially the Friday fish fry. And all other dinners are buy one, get one free. I love that. WTMJ's John Mercure here. The Fox and Hounds is one of the most gorgeous and affordable supper clubs to visit during the holiday season. Order anything on the menu, including steak and lobster, and your second dinner is free. Desserts, and I love that chocolate cake, are also buy one, get one free. Sip on a delicious old-fashioned, Manhattan, bourbon, 100 wines. They've got Guinness on tap. The Fox and Hounds has been transformed into a winter wonderland with thousands of lights, decorations, and Christmas characters inside and out. It is spectacular. You'll feel the warmth of those 7 real wood-burning fireplaces right away. Saturday night, buy one prime rib dinner, get one free. And the Sunday brunch is magnificent. Kids and grandkids under 3 always eat for free. The Fox and Hounds off Highway 167, 2 miles east of Holy Hill. The drive is beautiful. Escape from your kitchen this weekend with a free dinner. Reserve at foxandhoundsrestaurant.com.
Oh, gearing up for some Packers. I'll be doing some pregame Sunday on ESPN 94.5 and probably 620 WTMJ as well.
For a noon game, what time you got to be there?
Probably 8. Early rise, and Mrs. Scaffidi is going to join me, which is always fun. This is the last regular season game.
Yeah.
It really means nothing other than, and you and I know this very well, and you probably as well, you got to beat the Bears.
You got to beat the Bears.
You got to beat the Bears. We could be the 6th or 7th seed based on my playing around with the playoff.
We're on the road no matter what.
Dallas would have to lose to the have to beat the Commanders. Then we would, if we won, we would get the higher seed, and that would help us not have to play Philly. You know what I say though? Bring it on. Bring the best teams out there. We'll play them.
You got to beat the best to be the best.
Yeah. At some point, you got to play them anyway. Why do you care when it is? Right?
Last time we won a Super Bowl, we started with a favored Philly.
And since somebody asked, yes, I think the Vikings suck. Their record doesn't suggest that.
It's a good football team.
It's a good football team. It's a surprising team, let's put it that way. A texter asked, will there be more Steve in 2025? Define more, but there'll be more of me in 2025. Although I start a new
not physically,
I started a new weight loss,
gaining weight or what?
No, I'm starting a new weight loss program next week, so there's going to be less of me physically.
Okay,
there you go.
Yeah, we'll see how that all works out.
There you go.
Let's talk about Wisconsin Supreme Court race. Obviously, going to be coming up fairly quickly here. We know the last one. Correct me if I'm wrong. Most expensive race for Supreme Court ever in the country
until this one.
Until this one.
Yeah.
So, what's your early thoughts or predictions on how this? I mean, it seems like Crawford and Schimmel.
My question is for my friend Bill.
Yes.
Why do you think Judge Schimmel would be the favorite in this contest?
So for the listeners, we always have a little discussion between segments, and that was the discussion we just had. I think Brad Schimmel is the favorite because he has some name ID. He has run statewide twice before, once successfully, once unsuccessfully. I would argue the third-party candidate in that race was what did him in. That was essentially the difference between he and Josh Call. He got more votes than Scott Walker did, so I think he is the favorite based on name ID, and I think Republicans have some momentum right now. I think there's been a realignment of interests of voters, and I think there's a lot more common sense conservatism out there. A lot of Democrat friends of mine think that somehow if there is chaos in D.C., that will impact this race. I'm not so sure. I think Trump's going to have a longer honeymoon than he certainly did in the first term, and he could be helpful in the Supreme Court race. The key is finding those voters. Republicans did far better than Democrats in turning out mid-propensity and low-propensity voters.
Absolutely.
Those people do not show up in April elections.
It's such a different electorate.
It is.
Though.
Yeah, it is.
So write it down, etch it in stone. Bill McCoshen putting his faith in Brian Schimmel in the Republican Party to find those new voters and turn them out.
I think that Brad Schimmel is going to be the next Supreme Court justice from Wisconsin.
You know, Brad. I know Brad's a likable guy. He's a smart guy, and I think he's well loved in this part of the state. The question is, the northern tiers, those rural areas, is he well known? But if I'm sitting in Minocqua or North, and I got a choice between Crawford and Schimmel, I can pretty much guarantee I'm going to go with Schimmel.
Get ready for about $75 million worth of ads about untested rape kits and a backlog that took years to fix.
It's will be over $200 million. But I think the
$200
lesson
million.
learned from the Janet Protasewicz Daniel Kelly race was she sort of blurred the line of what judicial candidates can say about potential cases they may face to the point where she motivated the left on abortion, on fair maps, and then she voted on the fair maps. I don't know that was totally ethical, but she got away with it. Brad Schimmel's going to have to do the same thing. Now that ethical line has been blurred, he's got to walk right up to it and say he's opposed to undoing Act 10 and say it that bluntly if he wants to motivate conservative voters. You got to be the guy who says the things that fire up the voters.
By the way, those maps were passed by the Robin Voss-controlled legislature and signed into law by Governor Tony Evers. It was not decided by the court in the end.
At the end of the day, they had no choice because there were four maps, three of which were worse than Tony Evers.
Wasn't decided by the court.
All right. We're not going to make a formal segment out of it, and you can choose whatever one you want. Rogers, of course, is the stuff you want to get rid of. Love is what you want to keep. Got a quick one on that?
I want to Rogers Nancy Mace out of Congress so that she can get the help that she needs.
The lovely Nancy Mace?
This is a person in crisis, and I wish her well. This has to stop.
I want a Rogers Christopher Wray out of the FBI today, not tomorrow, not January 19th. It's time for him to go. We need a fresh start there.
All right, who do you love?
I love the other Nancy Pelosi.
Oh,
and
Boy, that was a. I wasn't expecting that.
And name a more remarkable figure in the House of Representatives in the 20th and 21st century. You can't.
I can't.
Right. And you had asked us who we would like to see leave and exit the stage. I love Nancy Pelosi. I think it's time for her to go.
Mm-hmm.
And I think
she's already announced for re-election.
And sure, I think a mid-session retirement and a special election for that seat could be a real motivating factor in kind of turning the page as a Democratic Party, and I think we do need to do that.
So that you both love her and love that she's leaving.
I love her, period, and she is someone that I think it could be time to move on from.
All right, Makashin, what do you love?
I'm loving Tony Weed, the new congressman from the 8th. Daniel Bice had him as one of the winners of 2024. He dispatched with 2 well-known Republican candidates, one current lawmaker, one former lawmaker in the primary, and then easily won the general election. Seems to be a happy warrior. Maybe that's because he doesn't totally understand D.C. and it hasn't created the skeptic in him yet. But I like the start that Tony Weeds had. I'm keeping him.
I'm probably going to get in trouble for saying this. He looks like a mobster to me. I don't know that that's the best
He's
look.
a gym rat, I can tell you that.
Yeah, I can tell he's in good shape. He loves the tan, all that stuff. And he must be one of these Florida guys, too, right? He spent
I have yet to meet him in person. We've had some conversations.
I've never talked to the guy, but he looks like a mobster to me. I haven't been watching a lot of mafia-related programming lately on all these streaming services.
We are products of our environment.
I think he's off to a really good start.
All right, you know what we're going to do next?
Grab bag.
Yeah, grab bag.
Grab bag.
You got something good?
I do.
Sure. All right, we'll get that and wrap up a Friday edition of the Political Power Hour, 620 WTMJ.
Hey, John Mercure here for Guthrie and Fry Water Conditioning. My reverse osmosis system in my house is fantastic. The water I drink, the water we feed the dogs, the water we cook with is crisp, clean, and clear thanks to Guthrie and Fry's RO system. It's the best in the business. It's affordable, it's effective, and you'll feel a lot better. It's all about the science. They know at Guthrie and Fry that better water makes a big difference. Southeast Wisconsin's #1 choice and my choice is Guthrie and Fry Water Conditioning.
Better water makes a big difference. Guthrie and Fry.
Get 15% off everything you can fit in the bag at Menards and ring in the new year with bathroom savings you must see to believe. Magic Woods has the vanity you need to complete your dream bathroom. Check out our great selection of over 100 Magic Woods vanities. Get an Everdale bathroom cabinet on sale for $499.99 through January 12th. Plus, get 15% off everything you can fit in the bag. See store for complete details.
Save big money at Menards.
Get your rock-solid guaranteed pre-approval to buy at ACCUNET.com.
Shop the January New Year's sale on better quality furniture and mattresses at Ken Michaels Furniture.
If you're living with dry age-related macular degeneration or dry AMD, you may be at risk for developing geographic atrophy or GA. GA can be unpredictable and progress rapidly, leading to irreversible vision loss. Now there's something you can do to
slow it down and get it going slower.
Izervay is proven to slow GA progression.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Izervay or avacincaptad Pagel is a prescription eye injection used to treat GA. Don't take it if you have an infection or active swelling in or around your eye. Izervay can cause eye infection, retinal detachment, or increased risk of wet AMD. Izervay may temporarily increase eye pressure. Your vision may be impaired after an eye injection or exam. Don't delay. Ask your doctor about Izervay today.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Visit Izervay.com. That's IZERVAY.com.
Just like most cars and trucks can't run without oil, no person can function without food. That's why, through March 1st, the Auto Dealers of Metro Milwaukee is contributing $1 from every oil change to Feeding America, Eastern Wisconsin. Every dollar provides 3 healthy meals. Over the past 14 years, Adam has provided more than 2.6 million meals to people in Southeast Wisconsin. And now, the need is greater than ever. Find a participating Adam dealer near you at adamm.com.
WTMJ, W277CV, and WKTI HD2 Milwaukee from the Annex Wealth Management Studios. This is News Radio WTMJ, a Good Karma brand station.
All right. Since we got most of the politics out of our systems, let's finish up with some grab bags.
Oh, I've got about 3 minutes for the gentleman. Bill McCoshen will let you go first. Grab bag this Friday is?
My grab bag is about the undercard on the April 1st ballot, the DPI race. Incumbent Superintendent Jill Underly versus Sauk Prairie Administrator Superintendent Jeffrey Wright, formerly a Democratic candidate for the state legislature, and a teacher named Brittany Kinzer from here in Milwaukee who ran Rocket Ship and was president of City Forward Collective. This is my surprise race of the cycle of the April election. Brittany Kinzer is probably the least known of the three. I think not only is she going to come through that primary, I think she's going to surprise Jill Underly in the general election. And the reason is voters across the state do not like the fact that we lowered standards for kids, which has now confused our report cards. So it's hard to tell if Johnny and Susie actually improved from last year to this year, and it'll get even harder over the course of the next several years. Brittany Kinzer's entire campaign is about restoring high standards for kids, teaching them the fundamentals of reading, writing, math, and science. Let's get away from all the nonsense in schools and let's focus on the things that will actually get our kids ready for jobs and ready for college. That's Brittany Kinzer. I think she gets on the ballot on Tuesday. I think she gets through the primary, and I think she's going to win the election in April.
I bet you my friend Senator John Jagler would agree with everything you just said.
We're going to stay in the education space. Probably my two favorite books of 2024 were the last two I read. Brian Reisinger's.
I loved it.
Land Rich, Cash Poor.
Great
Check it
book.
out.
Everyone should get that book.
I want to focus on the other one, though, The Anxious Generation by Jonathan Haidt, which talks about these twin happenings that really have impacted our kids. And it largely goes to devices and screens and phones in schools. I want all three candidates for DPI to make a ironclad pledge that they will work with school districts around the state to ban phones
Love that.
in
Joel
schools.
Kitchens is going to have a bill on that.
I completely agree. And I guess I don't understand why it should be so hard. We see the impact. It's just ravaging young people's lives.
It's a collective action problem. This book it's not just a diagnosis of the problem. There are real solutions in it. Again, it's The Anxious Generation by Jonathan Haidt. I hope everybody reads it. It will radicalize you to the notion of there's actually very simple things that we can do, like stop over-regulating offline play and stop under-regulating online play.
Yeah, if you can put your phone in a bag at a Kevin Hart comedy show, which I've done twice,
Yes.
you can do it when you show up at school.
Almost any concert of significance, you
And there
have to
are
check your
districts
phone.
in Wisconsin that have done this and proved the concept out that like parents can still communicate with their kids when they need to. And so
like call
get
the
it
front
done.
office.
It sounds like we need to have a book club edition of the Friday Political Power Hour.
I like that.
Because
Let's start with
I
Reisinger's
ordered
book.
10 books during the holidays. I don't think I told my wife that, but
Books
I did.
are my favorite thing to
Oh, my
give
goodness.
or get for Christmas.
When you say you want more Steve, sometimes more Steve is me reading a book so I can be better prepared to do this show.
We could do a weekly Yokobola flood, which is an Icelandic tradition dating back
Which
to
you
World
know
War
of.
II.
Why? Why do
Because
you
of
know
a podcast I listen to.
Oh, an
Where-
Icelandic podcast?
Where on Christmas Eve, everybody gives and gets books, and they sit by the fire and read their book.
My grab bag is radio's changing, and certainly moving towards the digital platforms. I'm launching a new podcast next week, The Kristen Bry. You Need to Listen is the name of the podcast. It's going to blow up. It's going to be big. I cannot wait.
Do we need to listen to it?
You Need to Listen. And that's a name picked for several reasons, which we'll allude to when we get to the podcast. Bill McCoshen, Joseph Pecky,
Happy New Year.
Go Pack Go.
Happy New Year, everybody.
Happy New Year, everybody. This has been the Political Power Hour Friday edition. Upswing is next after news on 620 WTMJ.
By now, you've probably figured out what's most important to us at Semper Fi is our reputation.